Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to the Ascension Playground. This is Ursula, and welcome to the Lion's Gate 8/8 of 2026. It's an auspicious moment on the calendar with so much happening already in our global society. So today I'm just coming on to add a few thoughts as together we kind of hold this auspicious marker together. If you're wondering what is this Lion's Gate, let me help share a few items for you. First of all, the Lion's Gate is an annual event. It is celebrated because of the numbers 8/8, August 8th, but this year is 2026. And so in numerology, when you add the 2, 0, 2, 6, it equals a 10, which reduces to a 1. What this means in numerology is it's a beginning, a new cycle. So we take the energy of 8/8, carrying this abundance. It's a marker for when the star Sirius is actually seen to rise. So we get this little star Procyon and other stars announcing, hey, the big star Sirius. This is a star that is in Canis Major, the big dog in the sky, the hunting dog of Orion. When the Egyptians would see this star literally rise from the land of the underworld, it marked the time when the Nile would flood, bringing rich sediment into the fertile fields, basically saying it's a new year for us to begin planting. So the flooding of the Nile was really embraced as a time to renew and begin again. Sirius is the brightest star in our celestial heavens, the brightest star. So when we look at our sun, the sun's name is Sol, S-O-L. So it's the solar system. But Sirius and our star Sol have a relationship with one another. So when it rises from the lands of the underworld and it causes the Nile River to flood, we're taking that metaphor from ancient Egypt and looking at this auspicious marker of 8/8, the Lion's Gate. So why is it the lion? In fact, why is it the white lion? The lion represents basically the calendar month of Leo. Leo is typically in August and it is ruled by the sun. Now, if you look at Vedic astrology, the markers with the zodiac really put us into a different time frame. So when we call this Leo, the lion, the month when the sun is the strongest and is ruled by Leo, we're really talking about metaphor and archetype, not necessarily astronomical positioning today. So we hold this idea of the lion, the white lion. Now, for those of you who have studied galactic astrology, we know that the white lions come from the beautiful constellation or asterism called Lyra. Lyra, where you've got this lioness kind of energy with the half human, half lion. So in Egyptian mythology, it is Sekhmet. She is the lion goddess associated with healing, protection, and yes, even war. So it's this idea of embodiment of strength. But going back to this idea of Lyra, it is our cradle of civilization for life as we know it in our galaxy, this Milky Way galaxy. So if we hold this idea of the power of the Egyptian mythology, the star Sirius, and then pointing us into this remembrance of our galactic origins, we're starting to get the tom-toms really moving and it's deepening. And the mythology is quite layered when we start looking at what is the power of the Lion's Gate on 8/8. So if Sirius is looked at as the brightest star or the spiritual sun, Many times the Egyptians would look at my soul as a pharaoh would return. I return with my solar arc back into this place of origin. Our bodies drop here on earth and we return back into the heavens, looking and guiding our ship to Sirius. So we see this idea of this portal opening of a returning to remembering who we truly are, that we come from the stars. We've forgotten who we truly are. So when we embrace the idea of the Lion's Gate, we're basically saying, remember, oh dear one, the magnificence of your own starlight, of your own origin, and this invitation to merge with your quantum higher self. So let me continue. I've talked about the numerology of 8/8, August 8th, but the 2026 equals a universal year of one. Secondly, the moon today is a waning crescent moon in Gemini. So we bring in the power of, let's talk about it, the twins. A crescent waning moon is basically saying, let me release and surrender so that I can clear whatever's inside as I prepare for what's coming, this total solar eclipse. We're only 4 days away from an auspicious window of time between the solar and lunar eclipses. So this waning crescent moon is asking us to please let go, get lighter, see what you can make room for as we enter into this new energetic frequency. Again, the doorway of the gate of the Lion's Gate is now opening. So the moon is whispering to each of us, empty yourself first before we enter into the total solar eclipse. When I looked at what is the Sabian symbol for today, August 8th, today marks the metaphor of a volunteer church choir makes a social event at rehearsal. So Dane Rudhyar, another fabulous astrologer, really looked at this and said, we have an opportunity here to have a feeling of togetherness. Remember, it's a volunteer church choir. We lift our voices, not because we're getting paid, not because someone expects us to, but because our particular note in this choir is something that only we can bring forward. Okay? And it's a choice point. You can choose to stay in the audience and just watch. You can stay mute, or you can allow yourself during this Lion's Gate to gather with others and lift your voice into kind of this frequency and song of the now moment. We recognize on 3D that when you watch the news, there's just everything that you could imagine being afraid of. So instead, a choice point to embrace this idea of what is it that 17 degrees of Leo, this volunteer church choir working with the white lions of the Lion's Gate and the star Sirius with our crescent moon asking us to release. So if you're afraid to lift your voice, that is a choice point for you and me to consider. I can stay quiet. It's taking me a lot to kind of move out of my own fear of rejection or criticism. But instead, here I am trying to add to the cacophony of other voices. My song is one of a visual sharing. Again, the infinity sign of abundance for 8/8, the white lion of Sirius in this portal, working with Lyra, calling and beckoning back to the Egyptian, truly the mythos of the heavens, reminding me that it's not just now, but it's an embrace of all quantum lifetimes I've had here on earth and beyond. There's another layer that really is bringing us into alignment, and that is we have moved, the nodal axis has now moved into Leo and Aquarius. So this is another layer of the Lion's Gate where When the North Node is now in Aquarius, it's asking me, does your fire serve something beyond yourself? I happen to have my North and South Node from my birth chart working with Leo, the one that wants to perform, look at me, and Aquarius. This is the calling out into the choir. So this beautiful balance of the artist and the choir coming together. So it's your individual mastery, but it's also, will you add your voice or your talents into this alignment potential? The invitation of today is really asking for this beautiful convergence of setting a bold intention today, even if it's just a breath prayer. What would you like that you know yourself to be to come forward to add to the collective? It is something that is pure and it is of who you truly are. It's you living authentically. It's not trying to keep up with anyone else, not like be a painter like others or be a singer like the sounds of others, but it's your true note, your true masterpiece. So if you want, I'm going to add something that is basically a message for myself. So this volunteer choir of the Sabian symbol of today, it's asking me to remember people who don't sing because they're being paid or because they're the best singer or because anyone told them to. They're singing because the community needs what only they can bring forward. Imagine that. If it's only a gift that you can bring forward. I was recently at an Esalen Institute workshop with a fabulous teacher named Anne, and she was teaching us human design. But the real true note was, do you want to live an authentic life? When many people who are at death's door are working with a hospice volunteer, so many of the regrets are, I didn't live my authentic life. Today's offering each of us a choice point. Will you allow your true, beautiful voice? It's like the penguins singing their own unique song. Will you allow that voice into the cacophony and the orchestra of such a beautiful song being created today? It is about a powerful light. And so I added in this idea of angelic singing to bring us into this idea that this portal is inviting all of us through the magnificence of our own light to add our own frequency. It can be singing that is just an emanation truly of who you are, but it does involve an act of a clear intention. Yes, I add myself, my light, my voice, me into this now moment. Sitting in stillness for just a moment to say, yes, let me allow my light to strengthen. Thank you for listening. So be it, and it is so. Enjoy your day, and thank you. Till next time, we'll see you on the Ascension Playground.